Hello and welcome to Russ Plays Games. My name is Russ, and as you can see, we are sitting in front of my paint station. And today, we're going to finish up the Imperial Mage from the Elder Scrolls Call to Arms starter set. Now, I found out something about Modifius. They sell two different types of starter sets. They have one that's plastic. It's a little bit cheaper. Okay, I think this one cost me like $33 on at my friendly local game store. Um, but the thing is that um, if you buy the resin kit is like way more money, like a lot more money. Um, Shoot, hang on just one second. Before I sat down, start filming. Alrighty. Didn't think to check that before I sat down and start filming. And need water. Okay. And I also just got all the other guys on their bases. And so I'm just kind of letting the glue dry. And then I'll paint these guys up later. If you guys want to see it, drop a comment below. Let me know if you like this so far, if you'd like to see some more of these. Also, I have these older metal Ralpartha miniatures that I bought online a long time ago. If you'd like to see me paint one of these guys, I can show you a version that I've done. Like I've done a couple of these guys, and if you want to see them, I might bring in one and show it off. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. So now to the mage. And then when we get done, I think I'll probably do Hadvar next. Just because, I mean, he's pretty awesome. I like Hadvar. In fact, I actually restarted in Skyrim just the other day, and I'm already like level 30, and I've basically killed almost every single basically like done almost every single thing. In fact, I actually did the Dawn Guard all the way through. I'd never done that before, and that was actually a really good end point. If you haven't had the pleasure of playing through the Skyrim Dawn Guard, it's really good. Like I love the Dark Brotherhood quest, but the actual but the actual one that they did with that was pretty amazing. Now, you'll notice on the box here, okay, that the mage's spells, they seem really bright up here, and then really red at the back, and then really bright down here, and then kind of reddish up here. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do that, but I'm also going to try to add some OSL to the thing. That's why I haven't actually done the gloves yet. So I'll do the gloves on this episode, and then we'll do the fur, and then we'll do the boots, and we'll get the belt and the trim on her. There, she's got a little bit of a like a strap holding the greaves on. So okay. So what I think they did, and I could be wrong. What I think they did was they painted this section white. And the reason why I think that is because it's super bright. And whenever you want colors to be very bright, you want to color white. Okay. Because then it's going to look super bright colored. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this down here, and then I'm going to try to get down here on the bottom, between her fingers, if I can. Okay. So now you can kind of see what I've done there, and I'll hold it a little bit closer so that you can kind of see it. Basically, what I've done is I've painted the front of the firebolt in white, and then I painted white around the bottom of the hand there. And that's why I didn't paint the hand last time, is because I wanted to make sure that when I went in to do that, because she's holding that in her hand, then her glove is going, is going to be around that, okay? And then we're going to paint the glove underneath, and then what we'll do is we'll just kind of let the paint just kind of come up like that, and then that way we can kind of bleed the color onto the glove, okay? Because we're going to have the color bleed onto the glove, because you can actually see where, it's kind of hard to tell from here, but you can actually kind of see where here in the glove, her fingers are actually like glowing yellow. So they actually like painted the hand. They painted like almost the whole hand that color to make it so that it looks like the fire effect is wrapped. Because if you remember, if you've ever played Skyrim, right? And you've got a one-hand weapon, like let's say in your right hand, and then in your left hand you have a spell, right? And generally when you have the spell going, you just have your hand open about like so, because you're looking from the first person, right? So you have the spell going, and then when you like get ready to cast, you pull L1, or if you're playing the Xbox, you pull the left trigger, and you pull your hand in like this, right? Right before you release it. That's when you start to get that kind of effect where you start to kind of get, it's like it starts to build because you're building that magical aura in your hand, and then you go, right? And that's kind of what she's doing, is she's, because in the game you can equip two spells if you have like two hands, right? If you don't have a one-hand weapon, you can have a spell in both hands. And so what they've done with this Imperial Mage is that they've set it up so that the Imperial Mage in the starter set has one hand casting the firebolt, and then the other hand is doing flames. Which, if you've ever played Skyrim, you'll know that that's kind of almost the first two destruction spells that you get. You get flames automatically, but you can find a firebolt spell fairly quickly in the game. And so, if you wanted to, you could equip a spell in both hands. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can if you want. In fact, the first time that I picked up Serana on this go through, she actually was doing she actually was kind of doing two spells at once. Like she was holding like lightning in one hand and like ice bolt in the other. It was like, Serana, what the hell are you doing? Okay, let me see here. I think what I want to do, I think I want to do, let me see, this is the lighter of the two. Let me see, no, I think this is the darker of the two. I think I want this one. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I think, is I'm going to paint the fur gray. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with a dry brush of brown, and I'm just going to kind of dry brush the brown over the top. Because it looks to me like the fur it looks like it has a brownish gray appearance. And it's like mostly brown, but it's got like gray undertones. So I think what they did is that they painted it gray, and then they came back over the top with brown. and then they were heavier with brown in some areas than they were with it in others. And remember, we are going to be shading this, so we want to be circumspect about that too. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to throw this paint on there. Okay. So we just kind of throw this paint on there and kind of get this puppy painted up. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get most of the base colors done, and then once I get done shading, then I will do the fire effect. It's always easier to do it when you're doing your highlighting stages, just because then you're not trying to be very cautious around it. You can kind of be a little heavy-handed with certain things, and you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, let me clean my brush, because I think I'm going to need to switch really quick. I'm going to switch to my blue. I like this one because it's got a lot thinner bristles. As you can see, it's got a much finer point. And so it's going to be a lot easier to get up in here where her fur is. It's kind of funny because I'm doing the reunification of Skyrim from the Legion point of view on this one. I've done that one a couple times, and it's pretty fun. If you've never done it, it's actually a lot of fun because you get to go to Windhelm. So if you play either way, however you do it, you end where you begin. So or you end opposite of where you begin. So if you join the Stormcloak Rebellion, you begin in Windhelm, you end in Solitude. If you start in the Imperial Legion, you start in Solitude, you end in Windhelm. And what's interesting is that they have actually created some really cool scenarios in Call to Arms that you can link together, so that like one person can play Imperials, one person can play Stormcloaks, and you both, like, depending on who wins the scenario, that determines the next scenario down. And then if you play in chapter 1, because this is the starter set, and then if you buy chapter 1, you get more scenarios that you can link together. So if a certain someone won on the first set of scenarios, then you start on a separate scenario, and then from there you choose different scenarios as you go along, and then it just kind of keeps on going. And it was really cool the way they did it, and I really thought that Modiphius really thought out the game really, really well. I can't wait to play it with some people and actually be able to do that, because there's two modes in this game. There's the skirmish mode, which is you basically have a band, and you gather up a party, and a party can be anywhere from 5 to 12 models. So if you bought this and your friend bought the Stormcloak starter, you could play with just these 5 characters. And that's it. You could have tons of fun with those 5 characters because you could use Hedvar and the Imperial Mage for your to play various delve mode scenarios. So there's the scenario mode. There's the skirmish scenario mode where each player gets a certain amount of characters, and you just kind of play through. And each scenario has its own little goals, and there are adversaries on the field. So, like, as you play, when you get done and your opponent gets done, then you draw a card from the event deck, and generally what that will do is it will activate adversaries. And so, like, adversaries will be things like skeletons, Draugr, whatever. And you can even have adversaries be Imperial soldiers. If you wanted to do something where, like, if you wanted to have, say, the Stormcloaks versus, I don't know, let's say the Dark Brotherhood, right? So if you wanted to do that, they have some Dark Brotherhood initiates, murderers. They're the lowest rank. And then they have, like, the Council of the Dark Brotherhood. So you choose one of those to be your champion. You choose one of them to be a hero. And then you pick, 3 or 4 murderers to be with you. And then you could fight against the Stormcloaks. And as your adversaries, you could use Imperial soldiers. You could just have fun with it. And, the adversaries really come into play when you do what's known as delve mode. And delve mode is where you jump in and you go through a dungeon, and you have to solve a puzzle, and you have like a certain amount of turns or whatever to be able to get that to be able to do that. And what's really cool about that particular mode is with the delve mode is you're not working against each other. It's a co-op mode, which I thought was amazing for Modiphius to put in. Was to have a delve mode that people would, really get into and have a lot of fun with. And I'll get right back to that in a second. What I'm doing now is I'm going to put some Mournfang Brown on the boots and on her gloves, okay? And on the belt. And then I'm going to use a different brown color to do the little straps on the back, and then we will continue on to the next part, which is going to be putting her up in the I'm going to cover her in Seraphim Sepia and probably Agarax Earthshade, I would guess. I'm thinking. The biggest one I'm probably going to end up using is the Seraphim Sepia, just because that's kind of the biggest color that she has. But yeah, so getting back to what I was saying, the thing is that the game runs on victory points, and so in the skirmish mode, you get victory points for not only like having your characters win, but if you like kill the opponent's hero, you get 2 victory points. If your opponent kills your hero, they get 2 victory points. but you choose like 2 or 3 little of these things they call oaths. And if you succeed in that oath, then you get that particular victory point for that part. And I thought it was really neat the way that they sort of did this whole system, because I was a little worried when I heard about the amount of card decks that they had in Fallout Wasteland Warfare, which is kind of what this game is built off of. But I think they learned their lesson on that, and they went, whoa, let's kind of tone back the amount of cards that we need. And so they just kind of put in the amount of cards that you really need. And I mean, honestly, yeah, it gets a little expensive when you have to buy the miniatures and then you have to buy all the little cards that go with it. But you only need to buy what you need. So if you want to have if you want to have the Dark Brotherhood Council, then you have to buy the cards for that particular set. If you don't want to have the Dark Brotherhood Council, then you don't need to buy that set. Okay? So it's not like a product where it's like, oh no, you need to have all of these cards all the frickin' time. It's like, no, it's you only buy what you need, which I think is really good. Because again, I was a little worried when I was looking at this, because I was thinking, oh my god, this is going to be like Games Workshop. I'm going to have to buy all these figures. I'm going to have to buy all these things, and it's going to be expensive as you know what, and I really don't want to buy into all that garbage right now. But then I was like, well, I'll give it a try. I'm usually one that will give something a try, and if I think it's going to be good, I'll recommend it. And I really do think this is going to be an excellent game. I can't wait to play a little bit of it. And the cool thing is that you can also do it solo. So you don't have to do it with the people. You know, like you don't have to do it normally. You can do it however you want. But I kind of realized that having, let me see here, is that, okay, that is a metal belt buckle. Sorry, I just needed to look at that the belt buckle really quick, because I didn't want to color it a different color and then be like, oh no, need to come back and do it over again. But yeah, it's it's kind of cool because you can even play the skirmish mode in single player, but it's more fun if you do it multiplayer. And you can do delve mode. Delve mode is definitely single player heavy, so if you don't have anyone to play with, but you have some skeletons that you could use, then you could definitely, some skeletons and some, maybe zombies to use as draugrs or whatever, then you could definitely play the delve mode in this. It's not that hard, really. Okay. Get this party started. Now I'm getting her glove. Her gloves. This one's gonna be a little on the iffy side here, cause I need to make sure I get everything correct. I don't want to have to redo a bunch of stuff, if you know what I mean. Really don't want to have to redo a whole bunch of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and color the whole glove. Okay. It's just easier to have a sharp point. Alright. Falls apart so quickly. Yeah. Problem when you've been using it for so long. The tip tends to go, yeah, I don't like you no more. Come on, man, that's stupid. Okay. So, glove number 1 down. Now for glove number 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to color this first. Okay. Now, I'm going to get the bottom. That's going to be the easiest one to get. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get as detailed as Modifius did, but I'm definitely going to make sure that I get this colored correctly. I have done similar things in the past. I think that's good. Because the rest of it will color with fire and it's all going to blend together, so I don't really care. I just wanted to make sure I got most of it done. We don't have to worry about it too much. All right. Now, I'm going to take my other brown, my moccasin brown color, and come on. Come on. Okay, that's probably good enough. All right. I like to make certain things look a little different just so they stand out a little bit more when they're out there. Looks like I'm gonna have to get my gray back out because the tops of her boots have a little bit of fur around them. Come on, get nice and pointy. Not in the mood right now. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of explain what I'm going to do. So that's fur or metal. I'm going to take it as metal. So basically what I'm going to do is there's a couple of things that I need to do. Sorry about my hand being in the way. So all around here on this little thing, I can't tell if it's fur or metal. I'm going to take it as metal. These parts in the front here are a different, there's like a small little metal belt buckle right in the middle. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that after I get done. I don't know that I'm going to be able to see it well enough to be able to get it right there. I need to get this metal belt buckle out of the way, and then I need to put some gray on this little fur cuff back here. Okay. And then once I get all that done, I'm basically going to cover pretty much everything in Seraphim Sepia except for the fur, which I will end up doing, and then this little metal belt buckle I'll end up doing with Agarax Earthshade. Okay. So most of it's going to be done in Seraphim Sepia. So when we get back, I'll have all of that done, and we'll be ready to start doing the highlighting phase. Okay. And in the highlighting phase, we're going to do a lot more on this, and it's going to look dynamite when we get done. So I will see you in less than a second. It's going to be a lot longer for me, but for you it will be in less than a second. We're back. So in the interim, I actually messed up just a tiny bit, but that's okay. We're going to fix it right now. Basically, what ended up happening was I went ahead and did all of the went in and did all of the stuff. And didn't get this done on her fur cuff, top of her little boot here. So what I'm going to do is get that done. And then you'll see that, and then it'll just be a quick case of putting the actual putting in the actual, once it dries, I'll put this stuff on. But you can kind of see that already she's got a pretty good, a lot of more definition than she did before. So okay. what she has. Keep her face very much in shadow. That's because of the there. Okay. So actually, let's do this first. Sorry for not talking. I'm trying to concentrate. This is really difficult right now because this seam is very, very small. Okay. So as you can see, right there, I went around her whole cuirass there. And what that does is that creates a, it just kind of creates a little bit of a new sort of thing for it. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically it creates a kind of gives it more of a shiny appearance, and it makes it just that much, it just makes it stand out just that much more. Which is kind of what you want. And the other thing is that it'll tie it in with the other characters very nicely. Because the other characters are wearing are going to be wearing the like their actual metal, so you can kind of see where this is more molded on there. And so because it's metal, it kind of brings that in. And like some of these guys are wearing the same thing that she's wearing, but I thought one of the other guys was wearing the same ones. But anyway. But yeah, you just kind of, get what you pay for. But I mean, it just makes it just kind of tie in. In my opinion, I think it just makes it that much stand out that much more. And if you want to make it look more fur-like, then you can just paint it grayish color and then, kind of make it look more fur-like if you wish. Okay. All right. Now, okay. Now comes the really, really hard part. Okay. show you what I'm doing here in just 1 second. I know I haven't been talking much. It's because I'm having to concentrate. These are very, very tiny details. And it's very, very difficult to try to talk while I'm doing this. Okay. So basically what I've done is I've highlighted each and every little diamond on there. And then I also highlighted on the front of her Curious. I know it's hard to see in the light, but on the front of her Curious, I highlighted these little buckles. And then I kind of highlighted the little stripes that kind of come down the front of the Curious. Another thing that I've tried to highlight, and it's very, very, very hard to do, on each little individual leather strap, there's a little line that runs down. Okay. Now, let me see here. I think how much time I have left for what I need to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and start building in. Let's hope I can do this right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by building a little bit of yellow color onto the white of the little flames, okay, here and here. And then what we're going to do is then we're going to build a little bit of orange towards the back. And then we're going to put some orange on the back side of the flame here, and then it's going to kind of go back, and then we'll have red back towards the hand, and then that's where we'll kind of make that glow go into there. And then this one, we're going to kind of reverse the process. We're going to have yellow all down around the hand, and then it's going to come up, and then we'll have orange and then red up at the tip, okay, where it's black. And so as we move, I will show you like some of the different things that we're doing, okay? But what we want to do is we don't want to go all the way to the tip with this yellow color, okay? We want to leave a lot of that white kind of showing through, okay? this puppy going here? Okay. What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of almost transparently cover the white with just a teensy weensy bit of yellow. Okay, we don't want a ton of yellow color. We just want a teensy weensy little bit of yellow. Okay? Because what we're going for is we want that sort of white hot color kind of shining through. We want it to look hot without being overtly. If you can kind of see how I have that, the color is very transparent, okay? And so you want that kind of transparency of that white showing through, okay? Because that's what's going to sell that effect of it being super hot like that, okay? Or of it being, you know, like that's the brunt of it coming at you, okay? And then I want a little bit of this color. I'm going to start as we do this. We want to put a little bit of this color down around the hand. Okay. We don't want a ton of it, but we want a little bit of it on it. Okay. That's going to sell that effect a little bit more. Okay. And then we'll add some orange and some red around it to make it look good. Okay. Now, the orange is going to kind of meld. And this is a very, very bright orange, so it's going to kind of almost overwhelm if you're not careful. So you have to be very, very careful how you put this orange on. Okay. You can see I'm kind of putting most of it. You might not be able to see it from there, but I'm putting most of the color on the black side, and then I'm pushing it forward into the yellow. Okay. I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. Now, one of the things that you can do, if you want, is you take a dry brush or something that you don't mind getting all dusty, dirty, nasty. Dip it into your orange. Get it dry brushy. And then start. And ends up happening is that you get a really nice orangish yellow effect. You see how that looks? It's kind of hard to see, but there's a lot of orange up into the yellow, and that's what's going to sell that effect. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to let that sit for a few minutes, and then we can actually kind of clean that brush off a little bit. We don't want to do too much with it because we're going to be using it again, but we definitely are going to kind of do the same thing. But first thing we need to do is we need to bring this orange back a little bit more. Okay. Then we kind of let it just kind of fade away. That's where the red's going to go. Right. Yeah. I know I'm doing this a lot, but the reason for it is because I want to make sure that when I'm doing this, that I have it at a nice tip, because I want it to be able to bleed well into the yellow. And again, just like before, I'm going to take my dry brush Okay. Then I'm going to take, and I'm going to okay. Now, I'll probably end up doing the same thing with the red. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to be able to get there because I'm kind of running out of time. But basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of orange and I'm going to put it around. Okay. Because again, I want to do a almost well, we'll see if it works. I don't know if it is or not. Okay. But we'll see. Okay, so now get my flag red. Come on. Come on. Okay. To really sell this effect, I'm putting a lot of the red onto the glove just to really kind of highlight the fact that she's casting this spell. Okay, I'm letting it kind of bleed out from it. And then what we'll end up doing, and I don't know if we'll get to it today, but when we do an OSL part of it, then we will end up with, a lot of this color all around in different ways. Okay. So, smash that like button, hit subscribe, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of this so far. And, we'll just keep on keeping on with it. And on the next one, we'll finish up this one and we'll get a start on Hadvar. He's going to be a lot easier to do since he is very simple. And yeah, we won't have to worry too much about him. So we definitely want to, take a look at that and kind of see what we're doing and go from there. I'm starting to put the highlights on for the OSL, but we will worry about that on the next one. Also, I am wearing one of my God the Father shirts. This is the other one. I know I showed off the one in the previous. This is the other one. This is Through Faith. It's Ephesians 2, 8 through 10. And I thought this one was really cool because it's got the crossed swords, Word of Faith. So yeah. Again, smash that like button, hit subscribe, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about the paint tutorial so far. And as we say, we will see you on the next one.